And we move on to India, Calcutta, and we welcome Dr. Kumar Saurabh. Hello, Dr. Saurabh.
Hello,
Good
Stefan.
to see you. Good to see you.
Hello, Stefan.
Can you tell us a little bit about the monument we've just seen from Calcutta? What is it? What is the history behind it?
Yeah. Hello. Am I audible, Stefan?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. So
Wonderful.
that monument, that monument was actually called Victoria Memorial, and that was erected to honor the Queen Victoria when she had visited Kolkata way back when we were a colony of British era. So that's a very beautiful place, and if you ever visit, do visit this place too.
Okay, we're looking forward to it. But we as well, at least I do, because I'm very pleased we have a presentation on confocal multicolor imaging, which I think is a widely underestimated imaging modality. And you will talk about retinal topographic segmentation. Thank you.
Right. So thank you once again. Thank you for having me on this amazing symposium. These are my disclosures. So what is multicolor imaging? It is a imaging modality available on the Spectralis platform, and it is just another way of fundus photography. However, it is not like a color fundus photograph. It's a different way of fundus photography. Initially, when we started using multicolor imaging on Spectralis, and that time we used to think that, oh, this machine doesn't have a real color fundus photo, and we thought that it was a drawback. But ultimately, slowly, when we started to use and interpret these multicolor fundus images which were available on the system, then we realized that it's not a drawback. It's rather a new modality which we needed to explore and needed to understand. So that's what we did over a couple of years, in the ensuing couple of years. So to understand the multicolor imaging modality, we know that the normal color fundus photography uses white light, a flash camera, and gives us a real color fundus photograph of the retina. However, the multicolor imaging, as we know, it's based on confocal scanning laser ophthalmoscopy and uses three laser channels, blue, green, and infrared lasers. And it doesn't give us a real color fundus photo, but it gives us a color-coded image. Color-coded image means that the images are pseudo color, but there are many advantages. Like in color fundus photograph, which is the real color, we do not get any topographic information. However, in multicolor images we do get some topographic information, because we use three different wavelength laser lights, and we also get layer wise information, which we'll see in the ensuing slides. So this is how the normal multicolor image appears. There are three laser channels. So we get three laser channel images, which are called reflectance images: blue, green, and infrared laser reflectance images. Now it's very difficult to differentiate if they are not labeled, which one is blue and which one is green. But obviously we get a coded image in the system, and the composite of all these three is called multicolor image. That's how it looks like in a normal fundus. So the blue reflectance image is basically for the innermost layers, which is vitreoretinal interface and inner retina. Green reflectance is for the inner and middle layers of the retina, and infrared reflectance, which is the longest wavelength laser channel, gives us the outer retinal pathologies. So how do we interpret the multicolor image? There are two kinds of hues which we get most of the times. One is the greenish hue and another is the orange reddish hue. Whenever we have an elevation in the retinal contour or thickness, we get a greenish hue, and whenever there is a depression or thinning of the retinal contour, then we get an orange red hue. That's how, this is the basic thing about the multicolor image, and these two parameters ultimately lead us to interpret the images. So these are the images from our initial work, and we can see that this is a patient of diabetic retinopathy which has received multiple lasers, and now the color fundus photograph here shows some laser marks, some old hard exudates, but that's it. It doesn't show anything else. But if we see the lower OCT picture, we see that there is an epiretinal membrane over the macular area, and which is very nicely seen as a greenish sheen over the macula in the multicolor image. If you can see blue green infrared reflectance channel images, then we see that the infrared laser channel, which is marked by the red here, doesn't show anything because it's meant for to image the outer retina, whereas the blue and green reflectance images do show epiretinal membrane, which is hyper reflective on just above and below the fovea. So that's how, if we see, if we want to know that whether there is an epiretinal membrane, we need to do an OCT in this picture, in this patient. But if we do a multicolor image instead of color fundus photo, then we do get an idea that there may be epiretinal membrane which was not seen on the color fundus photo. Next set of images, if we see, is again a patient of diabetic macular edema. The huge edema is noted on the OCT with the neurosensory retinal detachment and cystic changes. The color fundus photo doesn't show that much. The real color fundus photo, it shows some depigmentation or some color pigmentary changes at the macula. However, if we see the multicolor image, we see a very nice greenish hue right at the macula. That tells us, even without doing an OCT, that there is a huge macular edema, and we get a orange reddish circular area around the fovea, which tells us that there are large cysts at the fovea. So we do not need to do OCT to tell the patient that, look, you have a macular edema and that will require treatment. Obviously, we need OCT to monitor the progress, monitor the treatment response. But for diagnosis, if you're working in a busy clinic, we can anyway tell that there is a macular edema which is there if we do a multicolor image in this patient. Again, this is a patient of central serous choroidopathy. In the other eye of the patient, we can hardly see any PED on the color fundus photo, but along the inferior arcade, we can see there is a greenish hue, circular greenish hue, which is a PED. This PED is again seen on all the reflectance images, but the entire boundary or the extent of the PED is best seen on the infrared reflectance, because it is meant to image the outer retinal layers and the retinal pigment epithelium. So that's how PED is better seen on multicolor than the color fundus photography. A case of subretinal fluid, in a case of central serous choroidopathy, color fundus photo doesn't show that much, but the multicolor image shows the greenish hue, and it also shows the extent of the boundaries of the normal and abnormal retina. The fluid is also very well seen there. It's a case of optic disc pit maculopathy. We can see that the papillomacular bundle is having elevations, the greenish hue, and the macula is obviously lifted. Color fundus photo doesn't show that much, but the papillomacular bundle thickness, the greenish hue there, tells us that there is a something there in the optic disc pit, and if we can see, the optic disc pit is also nicely seen at the inferior temporal margin of the neuroretinal limb. So multicolor imaging can be helpful in diagnosing occult optic nervate pits, which are not seen on the color fundus photograph or even clinical slit lamp biomicroscopy. RPE atrophy on color fundus photographs are not usually seen, but multicolor shows them as greenish orange red hue around the which is seen here in the left eye. Multicolor image does show choroidal lesions well too. If you can see, there is a choroidal nevus in the color fundus photograph, and OCT also shows hyporeflectivity because of the pigments. The multicolor image showed the orange red lesion at the level of the RP and choroid because it is rich in melanin. And in this study, we had noted that the multicolor image actually measured the choroidal size of the choroidal nevus slightly larger than what we measured on the color fundus photography. So we had postulated that probably multicolor imaging may be a right tool to monitor these patients where the measurement is very important. And last but not the least, it is also helpful in other retinal and optic nerve pathologies like glaucoma, where multicolor image very nicely shows the retinal nerve fiber layer defects as loss of greenish hue, because those areas are relatively thinner. And ultimately, if we see this patient which has asteroid hallosis, dense asteroid hallosis, we do not get to see anything. We need to do fluorescent angiography to see whether what's the status of the retina, because the white light of the color fundus photography is reflected back from the asteroid. However, by the virtue of using confocal scanning laser ophthalmoscopy and the laser channels, we get a clear picture of the fundus in these eyes of asteroid hallosis. So that's a very eureka kind of picture when we can not see anything clinically on color fundus, but we see everything on the multicolor imaging. So these are few examples of how we have used and how multicolor imaging can be helpful in clinical scenario. So if I can summarize here, then we would say that multicolor imaging basically tells us much more what we get on color fundus photography, though it doesn't give a real color fundus photo, but it provides a topographic information which is more useful, and it correlates well with the OCT, structural OCT as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Kumar. That was a great overview of the power of multicolor imaging. And as I said, I think there's lots of potential. And we have time for one question. And I think this is related to Seung Jung's talk. I mean, you kind of answer it. You said atrophies, well, CSC, you can see it on multicolor. In absence, if you don't have fundus autofluorescence or want a quick check, would you recommend multicolor as well to follow up on CSC, or is that totally useless?
Well, that's a very good question, and we have been working on that, correlating atrophy on fundus autofluorescence and multicolor imaging. So I cannot tell them in detail at this point of time, but we are looking into it, and probably what I can share is that definitely multicolor tends to depict the atrophy earlier than what we notice on autofluorescence, because autofluorescence is a functional change. So it takes time to appear, and multicolor just an imaging scanning thing, so it shows little earlier.
Yeah.
So, but still, it's in the future to tell us.
Maybe as a workaround if you don't have fundus autofluorescence, which is of course the gold standard for that. So right. Kumar, I say thank you to Calcutta, to the Aditya Birla Sankara Nethralaya Institute, and it was a pleasure to have you in the panel. I thank all the speakers today.